Hello everybody, thank you for joining this video. Today we're going to talk about engagement split in Journey Builder in Marketing Cloud engagement. Okay, so let's go. So engagement split is a flow control in Journey Builder. So that's an activity that allows us to let the customer go through different paths based on three criteria. If they open our email, if they clicked a link in our email, or if the email bounced. And we can choose only from one of the emails that have been sent inside the journey. So basically, what's the idea here? Is that here I have my journey. It's about an event to know if people attended or not. I'm using a decision split here, but that's not the topic for today. And I'm going to drag and drop my engagement split. Okay, so what are the conditions first to use an engagement split? We're going to look at any email sent previous to this activity. So here I have 5 emails, so I'm going to be able to choose among one of these 5 emails. Also, another requirement is to have a wait activity between the email and the engagement split. The reason is that we need to let time to our subscribers, to the people we send our email, to interact with it. If I don't put any wait activity, then literally people will have zero time to engage, to open, to click, and even for the bounce. So it's clearly not a good practice. What we recommend, ideally, is to have a wait activity of 3 days. Because if the email bounces, then it can bounce and be retried for up to 72 hours. So between 1 and 3 days would be ideal. 3 days would be perfect, but if you use bounce criteria. Okay, I'm telling you that, otherwise you may see some email activity that doesn't appear. It's because you need probably this wait activity. Also, you cannot take an email from another journey. It needs to be an email from that journey that have been sent previously, that is placed before this activity. Okay, here I have my 5 email, and specifically I created one with a good amount of links. Okay, so let's pick this one. So I just choose my email, and then here I have my 3 criteria. So I can let my customer go down a specific path if they open, if they click a link that I choose in my email, or if the email bounce. So I can choose to take open. It's not necessarily our recommendation, because you know that some mailbox provider can say yes even if people didn't open, can send the wrong information, or the opposite. Some mailbox providers are really focused on privacy and won't allow tracking data, won't maybe display images and things like that. So it's not maybe the most accurate. What we would recommend would be to use clicks or bounce if your logic is different. But here you can take open, and then that's it. Here you go. So here the idea is that you take this email, and then if people open this email in the 24 hours time that we let them, then they would go through that path. And if they didn't click, or if they click after these 24 hours, then they would go down that path. Well, if they don't open in these 24 hours. So it's as easy as that. It's very straightforward. Where it starts to be a slightly more tricky to have, when you need to have more consideration, would be when you use clicks. So here, what it's going to do is that it's going to scan my email and look for all the click inside of it, all the links inside of it. So here you would see plenty of it. I just put quite a few, and then you can choose, okay, I want when people click salesforce.com or click the link to my website or things like that, then I want them, if they click, to go down that path and to go here. You can go a little bit further in personalization, if you can say so. You can pick 2 links or even all the links. Here the idea, if you pick 2 or more, is a OR logic. You will say, okay, if people click the DuckDuckGo or Salesforce.com, Then if they click either one of these two, then they would go to the yes pass. Okay, perfect. Or you can click everything, and that's the same idea. Okay, now we can go a bit deeper into that. Okay, if you use AMP then you wouldn't be able to use engagement splits. That would be one limit of it. If you use dynamic link, if you call another block, if you call a URL page, something like that, then as you can see, engagement split won't be able to see it. Another thing to keep in mind. Here you can see, for example, I have, okay, Microsoft.com. Okay, great. Then let's take a look at my email. Because the thing, this one, yeah. The thing is that I'm using quite a good amount of links, including dynamic content. And that's where it starts to be a bit more tricky. There we go. And then edit properties. And now I should have clicked edit message. But that's fine. Okay, here we go. Here you can see, okay, dynamic content. So I have my default content, which is apple.com. Now I have my NVIDIA button. I'm hiding it. Yeah, NVIDIA button or Microsoft button. Okay, the three of them have a link through this button. But as you can see, we didn't see the NVIDIA button and the apple.com because the Microsoft was the one displayed. But obviously it's going to change based on customer attribute, based on some filtering condition. Okay, so the answer to that, I'm going to let apple.com, and now it's going to be the one we're going to see. But the real way to use that is to add the URL manually. Okay, done. Then I go there. Let's check my links. Clicks. Okay. And here, it doesn't even appear anymore. Well, sometimes that happens. Okay, and here what I will have to do is to add them, or add it, the one I want, manually. So for example, here I will have apple.com. Yeah, it's not there. Okay, add. Okay, and here I have it. Or then I will add the Microsoft one, and so on. So if the link is in my email, that's classic, when I say classic link that doesn't have parameter tracking already and things like that, that would be looking like it. Or it's not called by AMP script and so on. For example, in this dynamic content case, that's something I would add, I would use. Because I know that this email is in, this link is in my email like that. Okay, this is for the links. Then maybe you want to use it with AMP script, or you're calling already something. Okay, then I would use that. So if you Google it, you would see different solutions that use SQL activity and decision split. So I can let you go through this whole trailhead that cover that. So decision split for a single journey and so on. Okay, but we are not going to use engagement split then, so it's not the purpose of that video. Okay, and third option, to use bounce. So here I'm going to say, okay, if the email bounce, then go that path, or if not, go the other way. Here you can see a little text message. I tell you what I just told you before, that can take up to 72 hours for a bounce to be retried, typically in soft bounce and things like that. One use case that I saw and was very interesting is that to say, okay, if the email bounce, maybe I can do different things. Maybe I can update the contact to say, okay, email not up to date or something like that. Also, what I can do, update contact here, that's what I was referencing, or maybe I can change channels and say, okay, this email bounce, maybe I will send a WhatsApp message, for example, or maybe I will send an SMS message. I think it can be an interesting way to reach out to the customer anyway. Okay, and here a little table to sum up what I just said about the links, the possibilities, and when to use decision splits with SQL or Cloud Page, and when to use engagement splits. So if it's a normal tracking simple static link, then we're going to use engagement split. If not, you may want to consider some other solution. Okay, it was everything for me today. Here you would have the documentation, configure an engagement split that basically go through what I just show you, and then you can go from there. Okay, let me know what did you think about this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you have any question, any feedback, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.